published 2 books this year, a middle grade book, The Elbow and the Invisible People, and The Tokens of the Lost. And what can you tell us about those books?
First of all, I apologize because I didn't include any questions, so please forgive. I'm a nonconformist. I know that seems strange for somebody who served in the Army and also with the Highway Patrol to not follow directions, but so sorry. My 2 books, The Elbow and the Invisible People, is a middle grade book set in Guthrie. Both books are set in Guthrie. The Tokens of the Lost is the third in the Carlyle Mysteries, which is a murder mystery, also set in Guthrie. But I'm super proud of this middle grade book simply because it has a real life story. And I'll try not to get emotional when I tell you about it, but I met this little boy named Noah, and he's the center of the book. My confession to you is sometimes I'm a horse's ass. Sometimes I can be a horse's ass. And I met this boy Noah, and I ignored him because he was different. And I was so moved I was so overcome with guilt when I finally took the time to talk to him, because he was so intelligent and so articulate, and I had overlooked him because he was weird. I saw him every day at the YMCA where his parents brought him to work out. But I didn't know that he was so weird because he was sick. And once I took the time to talk to him, then I was just so convicted, because as adults we shouldn't treat people like they're invisible. And I knew better, but I had done that with Noah. And so I wrote this book, number one, to build a partnership with Noah, and we did. He didn't help me write the book. He drew some pictures for me, but because he had a little bit of a problem with being honest, and so I wasn't able to include his pictures. He took stuff off the internet and presented them as his own, so we weren't able to collaborate. However, it didn't change the basic principle of why I wrote the book, which was to remind myself that we are to treat people how we want to be treated, but also that there are beautiful, valuable people out there that may just not look like they're beautiful and valuable. But once we take the time and quit being so self-centered, once we stop doing that and we give people the opportunity to come into our lives, that they can teach us something. Now, Noah looks like he's about 11, but he was really 15 because he had Crohn's disease. And so this book is my heart. And David, it was one of those deals where I knew I had to write it. And kind of like Johnny, I was in the shower one morning. I have a lot of religious experiences. Don't get me wrong. Don't misquote me. In the shower, and it came to me that I needed to write this book, The Elbow and the Invisible People. And the Elbow actually is a place in Guthrie. Back at the turn of the century, when the Jim Crow laws were in effect, there was a portion of town where the black folks lived, and they called it the Elbow. And it was cut off from the rest of the town by a little river that ran through town. And so that portion, it was shaped like an elbow, and that's why they called it the Elbow. And so the main characters in the book are Noah, who is a 12-year-old little kid who's different, who's weird, who nobody ever listens to, or everybody ignores him, essentially. Until one day, birds and dogs start talking to him, and they warn him that a terrible flood is coming to his town, and he has to get people to listen to him. First, they have to notice him, and he's an invisible, and the only person in town that he can ever get to listen to him is also an invisible. She's a bag lady, and he partners with her. She lives in the Elbow, and he partners with her, and she happens to be a doctor whose husband and son were killed by a drunk driver. So I'm able to slide those themes in that I talk about every day in real life. So it's just a wonderful book. I hope, like Johnny, selfless plug here, I hope that you'll pick up these books, at least just give it a shot and read it. Tokens I'm also very proud of, but I'm really, really proud of The Elbow and Invisible People. And I'm so fortunate to be here, and I thank you, Ann and Jean, for having us, and just a wonderful conference.